On October 28, 2024, Tyler, the Creator, released his 7th studio album titled CHROMAKOPIA. As a longtime fan of Tyler, I had to drop everything and listen to this record the moment it came out. So I decided today I would channel my inner Anthony Fantano and review and discuss this album. This record is layered with emotion, intense reflections about fame, family, commitment, paranoia, and it opens up new doors about Tyler that even the most die-hard fans didn't know about. The album opens up with the song titled Saint Chroma, which is the name of the character for this album. It kicks off with an eerie, ominous atmosphere, with marching sounds and Tyler whispering about his success and his disinterest in anything that doesn't relate to his money. Although he talks about his success, something dark is quickly coming to the surface. Daniel Caesar's first feature on the album takes place as we're hinted at Saint Chroma's struggle and the journey that we're about to go on. Ratata is the next track, where Tyler heavily leans into themes of flexing and the brighter side of fame. He flexes about his lavish lifestyle and his come-up, even referencing Odd Future. This song feels like a defense mechanism. He's trying to guard against the paranoia that's slowly creeping in. The next track, Noid, dives face first into Tyler's paranoia and fears about fame. He voices his deepest fears: stalkers, betrayal, commitment, and unexpected parenthood. More on that later. The instrumental feels very Igor-esque, possibly trying to incite feelings of nostalgia, while also inciting a sense of suffocation and anxiety. Willow Smith's beautiful vocals add another layer of fear. Tyler makes biting comments on parasocial relationships, discussing how people think they know him just because they listen to his music. He tries to remind listeners that there's a real person under his larger-than-life persona. One aspect of his fears, aka commitment, is brought to light with the song Darling I. He explores love and monogamy with an upbeat instrumental layered underneath lyrics discussing how he could never be satisfied with one person forever. Then we hit Hey Jane, once again tackling another one of his fears, unexpected parenthood. This song is a dual point of view between Tyler and a woman named Jane, who he accidentally impregnates and tries to comfort during such a confusing and stressful situation. Although he absolutely does not want to be a parent, he tells Jane he'll be there for her no matter what she chooses, and he takes the blame for what happened. The song switches to Jane's point of view, where she tells him she can parent the child by herself and that she's not looking to spend his money. Unlike his fears, Jane was ready to parent on her own and not be the gold digger he's been so worried about. It's an emotional song that tackles a friendship between Tyler and Jane and their fears changing their entire dynamic and, frankly, the trajectory of their own lives. Skipping to Judge Judy, Tyler talks about a fleeting, non-committal romance he had with a woman named Judy. In the beginning of the track, he mentions her beauty, bright demeanor, and her curls. He discusses their sexual encounter and how he'll never judge her. And I was damned to find out at the end of the song, Judy disappears and writes him a letter, seemingly from the afterlife. From what I could gather, she dies of cancer, and there's an insinuation that her hair fell out, which goes back to him talking about her beauty and her curls. Although his romance with her was non-committal, it almost feels like Tyler was starting to develop deeper feelings for her, and then she just slipped away. Now the next track, Sticky, features an insane lineup of Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Lil Wayne. When I listened to the song for the first time, I was genuinely jumping out of my seat when each new artist started rapping. Literally look at my notes, this was my live reaction. The song discusses getting ready to fight whoever crosses the respective artist. Now the track Take Off Your Mask might be the most lyrically heavy in this entire album. Tyler explores 3 different stories: a theater lover who ended up getting involved in gang activity and going to prison, a closeted preacher who lives with a wife and kid he doesn't love, and the wife of a millionaire who would do anything for her old life after she gave up her own dreams to start a family she never wanted. Each person represents a part of Tyler. The theater lover represents Tyler's love for the arts, which is obviously music, and the pressure he faced growing up to prove himself to others. The preacher represents his bisexual identity and how he was closeted for a long time and masked his frustrations with homophobic lyrics. and the millionaire's wife represents how he doesn't want kids and wants to put his career in art before anything or anyone, or else he might regret it. Tomorrow opens up with Tyler's mom begging him to give her at least one grandchild. Tyler absolutely does not want kids, but creates nuance when discussing how happy some of his friends, like A$AP Rocky, look after settling down and having 2 kids of his own. The track Like Him discusses a theme Tyler has talked about many times before, but this time, it's in a new light. He talks about his father. He discusses how much his mom tells him he's just like his father, his looks and his mannerisms. He begs for the attention of his mom to see him as Tyler and not just his father's son. He tells her to stop comparing them, as everything in his life worked out without him. However, the outro takes a rather emotional turn. His mom tells him his dad tried to be in his life, and it's her fault he's not. She says he's a good guy and not to blame him. This is a dramatic change from the way Tyler has spoken up about his dad before. And actually, as I'm recording this, I listened to the song once before I started recording, and I realized that at the end of the song, just before his mom's monologue, you can hear the voice of a little boy. The voice of the little boy is mixed in with Tyler's voice, and they just keep saying, "Do I look like him?" And it's so emotional when you think about how it's Tyler as a kid begging his mom, asking her, do they look alike? Do they act the same? Are they the same? Now that I think about it, the song Hey Jane feels like it's about Tyler's mom. Jane tells him that she's okay with being a single mom and she would rather do it alone. And then at the end of Like Him, Tyler's mom tells him that she told his dad to stay away and that it's her fault that he's not in his life. The album closes with the track I Hope You Find Your Way Home, which seems to me personally like a direct reference to his last album, Call Me If You Get Lost. The last track is lyrically a summary of everything he talked about during the album, not wanting kids, being paranoid, sticking it to his haters. But near the end, he calms down and accepts him in his journey, hoping to find his way home. The album ends with an emotional testimony from his mom, talking about how proud she is of him and to keep shining. Listening to this album, I found there were 3 central themes laced throughout the whole record: paranoia, the fear of monogamy or parenthood, and embracing one's authentic self. When discussing paranoia, he first talks about the dark side of fame, being stalked, harassed, or taken advantage of. In Noid, he says, "Someone's keeping watch. I feel them on my shoulder." He talks about other artists being unalived as a result of fame and always staying prepared for the worst. He talks about his paranoia and fear of getting a woman pregnant as he's not ready to be a father and doesn't want to be used for his money. He's paranoid about being like his own father, saying he doesn't want to look like him or be the same type of father as him. Songs like Darling I, Hey Jane, Judge Judy, and Tomorrow discuss his fears of romantic intimacy and having children. It's a theme that's most prevalent throughout the whole album and kind of ties all 3 themes together. The opening of the album, Saint Chroma, shows him masking his true self by flexing as a defense. Ratata also discusses the importance he places on his riches to avoid facing his own fears. The instrumentals of this album are complex, intricate, and evidently carefully produced. It's a new mix for Tyler, but still borrows sounds from his past projects like Igor and a little bit of Flower Boy. He carefully curated a sound that felt fresh and new while igniting a sense of nostalgia from his past projects. Another highlight is the features. Although I wish some of the verses from the featured artists were a bit longer, I still really enjoyed them. Repeat features like Daniel Caesar and Childish Gambino absolutely delivered in their ability to support Tyler's messaging. Other features like Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Doechii brought a new heat that supported his sound. And I know a lot of people are disappointed that Frank Ocean wasn't featured. I saw some rumors going around, but honestly, I think it was good with or without him, even though I love Frank Ocean. The biggest highlight for me is the consistency of his storytelling. Although there were a few songs that I personally think could have been cut, Tyler tells a story that you can follow through as you listen to the album. It feels very reminiscent of the story he told in Igor, with an intro, plot, and conclusion. In both CHROMAKOPIA and Igor, it's very evident that Tyler's character is taking us on a journey of its respective plot. As far as improvement, I would have loved to see Tyler discuss the theme of paranoia just a bit more, specifically the paranoia surrounding the dark side of fame. That's why I loved Noid so much. It's such an interesting topic that only a handful of public figures really talk about, and considering the length of Tyler's ongoing career, his controversies, and his rise to fame, I would have loved a more in-depth view of his perspective on the matter. Moreover, some instrumentals of a few tracks felt a little hollow or repetitive, but I can see why he wanted some of them to sound similar in order to tell a story. If I had to put a number on this record, I would say about a 7.1. I loved it, I thought it was great, but I don't know if most of these songs I would be listening to day to day. Except Sticky, that's going straight into my gym playlist. I think Tyler is a creative genius who's constantly looking to reinvent himself, and I love the way he plays new characters for each new project. I don't know if I would put this in my top 3 albums by Tyler, but I did really like it nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts on the album, your favorites from it, and what you think about this era in general. Also tell me your thoughts about the story he tells throughout the album. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Give this video a like and subscribe for more, and thank you so much for watching.